stomach, Jump City!
What's going on, guys? I just got back from seeing the new Mission Impossible movie, which is like the 6th or 7th one or something. I was a pretty big fan of the past couple, but this one was just disappointing. Really isn't the word. It's more just underwhelming. I mean, I don't really understand. There's nothing going on in this movie. Nothing has meaning. It's just action for the sake of action. I was just gonna run through some of my thoughts about it in this video. Just fair warning, there probably will be spoilers. Okay, so the plot of this movie is just kind of all over the place. I don't really even know where to start. I guess the very opening scene, I have such a bad memory, I'm trying to remember. A delivery driver walks into a warehouse. He's got like a food delivery. Tom Cruise comes out of the shadows. He gives like a code, and the delivery's actually like this new secret mission to find this key. God, this story was just the most like fucking basic like boring. It's nothing that you haven't seen before in any other movie. I mean, it's been done so many times. It was just, God, it was just boring. I mean, there's just no real substance to it, really. There was only like 1 or 2 action sequences that I even enjoyed watching. Like, most of them just weren't even that fun. So after Tom Cruise accepts this mission or whatever, he's got to go find Rebecca Ferguson, or Lady Jessica, that bitch in The Greatest Showman that ruins dude's life by kissing him. She found one half of the key. They put like a $50 million bounty on her. So there's a bunch of bounty hunters trying to find her, and Tom Cruise gets to her first and gets the key. It cuts to like some higher ups in the US military talking about this new AI entity that went rogue and became sentient and has a mind of its own, and it'll control everything and control everything about everybody and what everyone thinks. And like the most basic, boring AI taking over the world story. The president of the thing is the dude from Princess Bride. His hairline is so fucking bad. His haircut looks so fucking goofy in this movie. In this scene, they do the whole kind of like CSI thing where one person says a sentence and then the other person immediately starts talking, adds on to it, and then as soon as they're done with their couple words, the next person immediately starts talking.
Phone records, personnel.
Hard drive spinning up now.
You see, this could lead us to him.
Or Donoso.
Donoso is our first priority.
See, to start with the hospital and find out when Donoso left and with who.
And who was driving his car, got it?
No idea of the victim?
Garcia's running her markers through Black Cap.
This youngster went through a lot of trouble. It's probably his first kill.
If he went through this much trouble to hide
We learn who she is.
That'll be our first objective. How many boats are there on Lake Mead?
1,908.
Come on, you just know that?
It's just so fucking like fake. I mean, that's not a real conversation. That conversation does not exist in real life. Who has a conversation like that? Then there's a sequence in an airport where he meets Grace, who is Captain America's wife, and she's like a thief and a professional pickpocketer and like all this stuff. So she's trying to get the key, and they go through this whole sequence where I don't know if it's like some dudes a part of the US military or what that are after Tom Cruise, but they're all in the airport looking for him. And dude, Tom Cruise has like, at one point in the movie, he has like 5 different groups of people chasing him down at the same time, and it's just like so much shit going on at once for no reason. I mean, there's just like, it doesn't feel like there's any point to it. During the airport sequence, he like runs atop the roof of the airport, and Tom Cruise does that like super goofy run. And he's like 70 years old now. He looks so stupid when he runs, dude. He runs a lot in this movie too. So if you think it's funny watching him run, him and Captain America's wife get into a Fiat, and they're like in Rome, and they're just having this 20-minute long chase scene. He's trying to babysit Captain America's wife the whole movie, and she is trying to kill him. She has left him he's trying to help her. She leaves him to get captured or to die like 10 times. In this chase sequence in Rome, he's being chased by Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy in some big ass like SWAT van, and then the cops of the city are chasing him, and it's just like constantly. That chase sequence is probably the most fun action sequence throughout the whole thing. So another thing Tom Cruise does, and I first noticed it in Top Gun Maverick when I saw that last year, but there's a lot of close-ups of Tom Cruise's face because I don't know if he's full of himself or what, or thinks he's like really sexy or something, but there's so many close-ups of his face, and this was prevalent in Top Gun Maverick too, but he always just like, he like clenches his jaw, and he does it so many, like every time there's a close-up of his face, he's just he's like biting down, he's biting down so hard. It's like a pet peeve. Just like once you notice it, you just never unnotice it. God, this movie was about 3 hours long too. I can't even remember half the shit that happened because it was just, there's just not a whole lot of substance. The main bad guy of this movie was a bad guy in one of the previous movies who like killed his wife or something. So he wants to get payback, but that guy wants the keys so he can control the AI entity. They keep calling it the entity, which is really stupid. The main bad guy ends up killing Rebecca Ferguson. I mean, it showed her a couple times at the beginning of the movie. She's just kind of there. I don't know why she chose to fight this dude, but he like stabs her in the chest or something. And Tom Cruise finally makes it to her. He couldn't save her. And it's supposed to be like a sad moment, but it feels so forced. You just don't really care. I mean, I just didn't care that she died because I didn't really care about her as a character, because she didn't really do anything. She was just like a wasted character. Another wasted, meaningless character was Cary Elwes. Cary, I don't know how to say his name, the Princess Bride dude. He was in the beginning when they were doing the CSI shit. He's at the end when they're on a train where they do the final like action sequence. He's in a room talking to the main bad guy, trying to get them to join sides so they can take over the world together. The main bad guy just like kills him. And it's like, dude, why was he even in the movie? I don't even understand. Like, what the fuck is he even in the movie? The last main meaningless, wasted character is Mantis. She had no reason to be in this movie. I truly believe the only reason she was in this movie was because she just chased Tom Cruise around in the Fiat. She dies on the train at the end and like saves Tom Cruise, but it's like, it's just out of nowhere. And it's just, there's a sequence where Mantis and some other goon, and they like block Tom Cruise in an alleyway that's like as wide as my shoulders, so there's like no room in this alleyway, and they're all beating the shit out of each other. Every dude that Mantis fights, she beats the fuck out of him, and that's so unrealistic. I mean, she's such like a small woman. There's no way she can like bash some dude that's like twice the size of her, bash his skull into a... I mean, there's no way that she can overpower some of these dudes that she fights. I mean, it's just so forced. Another thing about Tom Cruise that bugs me is I didn't really notice it much in Top Gun Maverick, but in this movie, his acting was just so bad. I mean, it's okay. I don't know if he's always just been like a kind of a bad actor, or if I just now noticed it in this movie. But it's just so bad. It just doesn't seem real. There's no emotion. Any emotion that his character shows, he just stares and like clenches his jaw as hard as he can. Does this, and it's like, dude, he just like stares at the ground. There's nothing else to it. You know, he tries to act cool and tough, and it's like, dude, I can't take it seriously. There's one part where Tom Cruise's little group are discussing this new AI entity, and we don't know what's real. The only thing that we know for sure is real is this conversation that's happening in this very room. They haven't shown that this thing is dangerous. All they've just said that it is dangerous. They haven't said why, other than like the typical, it'll control all the information that everybody knows. It's like, well, what does that even mean? I mean, when they say that line, it's like so anticlimactic because they just haven't shown anything. I mean, it doesn't feel like a threat. They haven't shown any way that it threatens anything. I just don't understand the AI thing. And it's so confusing. And they just start talking about it. Like they literally say that it knows everything. In one scene, the main bad guy's like, the entity already knows the outcome of everything because it ran through all the 14 billion possible outcomes and no matter what, I'm gonna get the key to tomorrow or something. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, it's so confusing, but I don't even understand how this guy knows that, because the entity thing is literally in a submarine that's crashed at the bottom of the sea that nobody knows the location of the submarine. It's like, how does this guy know that? It doesn't explain anything. How does he know anything about it? I mean, he didn't even know where the location is. Nobody has access to it. I just do not understand. It's so confusing. They just didn't make it feel threatening. They said, like, the more you try to control it, the more it fights back or something. What the fuck does that even mean? It doesn't explain anything. Dude, I just don't understand. I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking into it too much, but I don't know. I get it. It's just meant to be an action movie with pointless action, which, speaking of pointless action, this movie has a lot of it. And I get it. It's Mission Impossible. It's just supposed to have a bunch of action. A lot of the action just feels so pointless. And like, another thing that's so confusing about the AI entity is when they're in the airport, Tom Cruise is wearing these like AR glasses where he can see things through the glasses that other people can't. He ends up seeing the main bad guy through the glasses, but when he takes them off, the guy's not there. Okay, so maybe he was like hacking into the glasses where he wasn't really there. It was just making Tom Cruise seem like he was there. But then when he meets back up with his crew, they're like running through all the security footage and stuff, and they don't find that guy anywhere. They show a clip where it's like him going up the elevator, but it kind of looks like a ghost, like the entity or whatever like tried erasing him in real time. And then they stop on one shot where you can see the main bad guy's reflection in a mirror. He's not actually there, but you see his face in a mirror, which would imply that he was actually there, which doesn't make sense with the previous scene, because if he was actually there, Tom Cruise could only see him in the augmented reality glasses, and when he took them off, he wasn't there. But later, they pull up the security footage and they're like, oh, you can see his face in the mirror of this store. That means he was actually there. Like, they completely contradict. I know this makes no sense and it's so confusing, but it just completely contradicts itself, and I just don't understand, and they don't explain anything, and it's so confusing. And for some reason, while they're doing the chase scene in the airport, one of the guys on his team finds that there's a nuclear bomb in the airport, like on top of everything else. It's just like so stupid. Tom Cruise being chased by one person isn't enough, so let's throw like 4 different factions of people on him at the same time. But on top of it, let's just throw a nuclear bomb in one of the suitcases in the airport. Like, let's just add some more suspense on top of it. It's like, obviously, the nuke isn't gonna go off. Captain America's wife probably was the best actor in her role in this movie. Tom Cruise acting was so mediocre and kind of hard to watch at times. Rebecca Ferguson, don't even know why she was in the movie. Cary Elwes, don't even know why he was in the movie. Mantis, don't even know why she was in the movie. Overall, I would probably give this movie like a 5.8 or like maybe a 6 out of 10. To me, this movie did not capture the like magic or the feeling that the previous Mission Impossibles have captured. God, I'm like falling asleep even talking about this because I'm so fucking bored. Yeah, I just want to look at some reviews on Letterboxd really quick just to see what other people are saying. I may be way off base, I don't know. Folks, he's done it again. Done what? Been a mediocre actor? I mean, James Bond wishes he was as cool as Ethan Hunt. I feel like James Bond is cooler. Not to be hyperbolic, but this may be the greatest movie ever made. Did we see the same movie? Because very romantic. Everyone was finishing everyone else's sentences. Exactly. Can't believe they're spending real money on this shit. Sucked so bad. Unintelligible. Problems in action. With a sword in her hand, Rebecca Ferguson brings a fight close to a knife distance. Self-indulgent high-impact action that is incomprehensible at times. Poor plot, poor writing, poor use of characters. Luther or Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson did anything to propel the story. Haley Atwell was an unnecessary casting for an unnecessary role. The way the virus works, the way the intelligence committee heads talk to each other, finishing their sentences about information that only one of them is privy to. Exactly. This person's review is like pretty much how I felt about the whole thing. This movie was fucking awful. Essentially 3 hours of loud noises in random historic locations. The question is, what the fuck happened? Fallout was a genuinely great movie. Well-grounded and motivated characters. Rest in peace, Hannah Baker. You would have loved Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 starring Tom Cruise and his weird middle tooth. Fuck Tom Cruise, fuck Scientology, and fuck these movies. On that note, that about sums it up, I think. Here, let's give Mission Impossible a rating. Alright, well, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. If you didn't, tell me what you didn't enjoy. And, yeah, hopefully I'll see you in the next video.